We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Thursday, and we have Will with us today. And it's a special day for Will because he's been banned from TikTok yet again. And I told him, I said, look, man, you can just come on the podcast. We can fuck with people. Go to Substack, go to YouTube. But what
Which
did
I'm,
they ban you for this time, for Christ's sake?
dude, I have no idea. All I did was try to open it up. Said your account's been banned. That's it.
Wow.
No warnings. Just you're out. And I think part of it is that because that happened after the Kirk murder, and I made a couple of things, but nothing disparaging about him. Just
Yeah.
that I was kind of confused because a lot of things he said brought this on him. And I think considering that MSNBC whacked one of their commentators for saying the same thing I did, fuck it. I mean, might be it's the beginning of the purge, the little ones first. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
and to be
done.
perfectly honest with you, as far as the rule changes on Sunday, we all may be gone. And
Yeah.
I personally don't, I'm not worried about it either way. I'm going to continue doing what
Right.
I'm doing. And if they kick me off, they kick me off, but I'm not going to bend a knee to Donald Trump, TikTok, or anybody fucking
Oh
else.
hell no. And also, I mean, I figured out to make Substack videos. That and we'll talk about that at the end because I think that's
Yeah.
personal stuff that we can get to later. But as you can see, fellow viewers, Mike and I are wearing red for the funeral in respect to Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to say this straight up. And if you don't like it, lump it. If you can't, fuck you if you can't take a joke. He brought this on himself. I have no sympathy for him. I don't even have sympathy for his children because they're going to be fucked up because they're going to be the children of the martyr Charlie Kirk. Their lives are fucked up. Um, the one thing that is, and watching the far right go absolutely batshit crazy is absolutely, I just don't get it. They're blaming the left. It just, what the hell are you guys talking about? I mean,
Uh, th- they want to blame the left, but we haven't even caught this guy yet.
mhm.
And the idea that they're going to catch him, actually, while we're on this, there's going to be a press conference with the FBI. Hopefully, we'll get
That
some
should be a
tidbits of
show.
information while we're doing this. But remember, we've got the FBI looking for this murderer, and it's run by Cash Patel. He's already
Right.
had two people made a mistake and had to set them free. So if you think Cash Patel's going to wrap this baby up, you might be waiting a while.
I mean, the woman who was in charge who was the FBI director of the Utah office was a Pakistani woman that they fired right away.
Yeah,
Well, she had been in the FBI counterterrorism office for almost 2 decades.
right.
So let's other than him being that the scumbag that he was, yes, he was. Sorry, it is what it is. Um, that assassination, and I did catch the video of it. That was not a madman. That was not someone just random and afraid. That was, and I told you a moment. That's like watching a John Wick film. Someone did that professionally.
Well, it doesn't seem
Professionally.
calculated. Doesn't seem calculated. It doesn't seem to be some emotionally broken 16-year-old
No.
kid crying over something. This was done efficiently. He got the fuck out of Dodge. We know that because they haven't caught him yet. They're now throwing up pictures of person of interest, but this is just a guy in a black outfit like they knew this person, the
Right.
shooter, to be. I don't even know if that's the guy. They
No.
don't even know if that's the guy.
This was a very efficient murder.
Yeah.
You want to go to the word assassination, fine, and then you start thinking about okay, they're blaming the far left. Okay, so great, or the left or the liberals, blah blah. Like we actually put a gun in his hand. No, no, this was someone calculating to get rid of him for reasons. Because the one thing I was thinking about, why are they all pissed off? They are just absolutely out of their mind. They're mourning. They're crazy. They're upset. And I thought, good
Because
Lord, it's like,
narcissists like to be the bully and they like to push you and hit you and do all that stuff. The moment what they perceive to be as pushback, then they become the victims immediately. Now,
He's a
they want
martyr.
to blame it. They want to blame it on the liberals because this is an opportunity for them to do that. That's what they do. They see an opportunity. Oh, let's blame the liberals. That's what they do. We don't know who in fact did it, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there as to what really happened or how it happened. Normally, these kind of conspiracy theories would sound crazy, but after what we've seen over the last 8 months, ain't nothing crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
some people have suggested that, look, maybe it was initiated by the Trump organization to get attention away
Yep.
from
Red
Epstein,
flag.
and also create that division which is so necessary for Donald
Right.
Trump to stay in power. Now it's us against them, even more so than it was. Now that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy, but think of this. Think about the assassination attempt made on Donald Trump's life. That whole
Yeah.
scenario seems very similar, doesn't it? Guy on a
Exactly.
roof, Charlie, Donald Trump are outside giving a talk, guy on a roof. People said they noticed it, but they did nothing about it. Um, and somebody will say, well, Donald Trump wouldn't sacrifice Charlie Kirk for this. Yeah, he would. He
Oh, yeah.
sacrificed
Sacrificed.
a million
But
people in COVID.
also, he sacrificed on, and that thing, fireman died.
Yeah.
He was collateral damage.
if
And Trump,
if if that's what happened, I mean, we don't know that it was some kind of false flag thing with the assassination attempt, but it sure seems fishy. I mean, here's the thing: Donald Trump gets clipped on the ear by an AR-15, right? Nothing happens. He's got no marks. Charlie Kirk gets hit in the neck with a 30-06, a lesser gun, and it's catastrophic. That seems
right.
weird.
And also, go and Trump during his wonderful speech as president, instead of, everyone together, political violence, no, he went right, it's all the left's fault. We all need to get a hold of him. And then he brings up his assassination and blaming it on the left. That kid was not a
No.
liberal. That kid was a fucking MAGA, a nut. He was crazy. And so they're using this, and like Fox is declaring war on liberals. They want the Democratic Party now to be determined a terrorist organization. And then Jesse Dollemore had a couple of videos of some of the mouth breathers on TikTok demanding war. And I'm watching this going, these guys have followers and they didn't take down their videos. But it
Right.
keeps saying, we're going to war. You guys aren't the only ones with guns, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at that thing and I just thought of one line from one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm your Huckleberry because I'm tired of you motherfuckers. I'm your Huckleberry because this is the thing. They keep saying, we're going to do it. Then do it. Don't call threats to traditionally black colleges because your racism allowed you to do this. Don't call threats and bomb threats. If you're going to do it and
Well,
see the
that's that.
reaction.
That's what we got to let people know is that, every possible suspect they've found, the two that they brought in and released, and the one that they're looking for, they're all white.
Well, wait.
Then explain to me if Democrats are the ones that are violent, then why did Republicans, it had to be Republicans, call in bomb threats to 5 HBCU schools, black schools? Because the guy who did the shooting wasn't black, but they don't care. They just think they're owning the libtards, and a black person is easy for them because they know they hate them.
And my wife and I were discussing this, and my wife is kind of practical, but we were talking about, you know, as I said a couple of days ago, personally, I have no Fourth Amendment rights anymore. I mean, that's a bottom line. Supreme Court has said that they could stop
Yeah.
me for my skin color. If they don't like my ID, I got to prove I'm a citizen. I have no due process. They don't won't read me my rent. Have you noticed one thing of all these fucking arrests? When you're arrested, they go, "I've been arrested for this." They Mirandarize you. They put you in jail, and then you get a bail hearing. No, even protesters are just taken away without reading the Miranda rights,
Right.
without due process, and then they never get a phone call in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, that is dictatorial disappearing of bodies. gone. I mean, and this is where we're at. And these people are out of their fucking minds. And so they equate crime. See, I'm the job taker. We take the jobs from Americans. I made a comment that on a YouTube video, and one of the people was talking because I was talking about the economy and jobs. And the guy goes, "Well, that's because they haven't got rid of all the immigrants and white people, and Americans haven't taken the jobs. That's why the job rate hasn't go up." I go, "You really going there? That's the hill you're going to die on? Okay,
Yeah.
whatever, dude. Well, we take the jobs and causing the economic loss. The black folk are the crime. Here, Trump. When he talks about crime, he's not talking about crime. He's talking about black people,
Right.
thugs, criminals, and so them calling in bomb threats to historically black colleges is because they equate a murder and crime with a black person. Welcome to Trump's America.
There's one other place that they called in a bomb threat to
Oh,
the
DNC.
DNC. The
Yeah.
DNC. Do you think the Democrats called a bomb threat into their own place? Don't think so.
No.
That would have had to been a Republican. You know, when they say we're going to war, I mean, that's so narcissistic, so bully behavior. Fuck you. We've been in a war for the last year at least. You want a war? Go ahead. Let's have the war. I'll tell you what's if they find out that a Democrat did this to Charlie Kirk, they're not going to be able to. They may say, "Well, see, I told you it was a Democrat." Those motherfuckers are going to be terrified. The
Yeah, because
moment the
that was,
Democrats, the moment the Democrats start fighting with fire, these fucking bullies, these cowards are going
and,
to be running because we've
and it
told
was,
them before, push them so far, but people, when they don't have any place to turn, they're going to strike back. And when the Democrats strike back, it's going to get ugly.
and here's the thing. Today, lost in all this bullshit, is the 24th anniversary of 9/11.
Exactly.
Okay, that became an afterthought. JD Vance, instead of going to the memorial, went to Utah to pick up JD Vance, pick up Charlie Kirk's body, like he's some
Jesus
kind of
Christ.
fucking yeah. He skipped it. Trump is going to went to a memorial, I guess tonight, and is going to the Yankee game. I don't know, but it became a secondary thing. He doesn't. It's just not lost. And the thing about it, why is that because at that point in America, everyone came together. Now it went
Right.
off the rails later when the reaction to it, but everyone came together in that when we were attacked as one. You know, the only person who made it about himself on 9/11 was Donald
Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Go find the conversation we had Howard Stern that night, that day, when he's talking about he now has the big tallest buildings in New York.
Which wasn't even true.
It wasn't true, but you see the point. That was 24 years ago, and he's still doing it. And people just and the problem with MAGA is that they need hate. They need to hate everything. They need to hate everyone. They need to fight. They're never happy. They're miserable motherfuckers. And the thing about it too, also, I'm going to say this: Charlie Kirk was a very influential MAGA. Let's be honest. The turning point has got a whole bunch of young children buying into this bullshit. Hardcore, far right MAGA bullshit. Women subservient. The race people of other races are inferior. The whole fucking 9 yards. He sold it. He did a good job of it, and I'll give him that. He was able to do that. But here's the thing that surprised me is that yeah, but he's not an elected official. He's not, you know, a big political figure. He's just someone in the background they need. Why are they all upset? And I go, it's like someone killed a religious. Oh shit! To them, Trump is their God. Trump is their Jesus. Kirk is one of the apostles to them,
Yeah,
and they murdered
apparently
one of the apostles, and they went freaking nuts over it.
I did a TikTok about this, and I'm watching what's going on in the news and the media and all this stuff, and they're making Charlie Kirk out to be an important person. And I put it out there to my audience. I said, okay, how many people out there really knew anything about Charlie Kirk other than he's young, he's a radical right, crazy motherfucker who's got some racism issues, among other things? Other than that, we didn't know who he was. Charlie Kirk was not important. Charlie Kirk was only popular with a certain group of people, the
Hmm.
mouth breathing, red meat eating, Trumplafuck dumb fucks. So Charlie Kirk's claim to fame is he was a leader of the dumb fucks. That's all he
Right.
was. He's not important. He's not as important as 9/11. He's not as important as the state legislators here in Minnesota. He's not
That's
more important. All he is a rallying point for dumb fucks to scream and point and try to own the libtards. I hope Charlie is good with the fact that they're using him right now to try to own the
he
libtards.
would
That may
be.
be okay with him. Yeah, he probably would be.
I mean,
But
what did he say? To keep the
I
Second
don't.
Amendment, got to have a few dead bodies.
Yeah, that's what
Sure.
he said. He said it's
But see,
worth it. So he fucked around and found out.
this is how fucked up the media is about this. Okay, even the mass media. Um, Dowd, I forgot his first name, on
Yeah,
MSNBC, who's been a political advisor,
Matthew Dowd.
Matthew Dowd, for a political advisor for decades, years. He was on Katie Tur's show, and they asked him. He brought up a very logical point. He kind of brought him on himself. He encouraged it. He encouraged divisiveness. He encouraged the Second Amendment. When there were school shootings, he said that was an acceptable losses. He said that him dying that way is wrong. No one, let's make this clear, even though we're both wearing red, we do understand no one should die like that, ever. If you
Yeah.
want to have a debate with him, fine. That's what his was there. He was a foil for the other side. Debate him, make fun of him like they did in South Park, but someone put a bullet in him for reasons. And I don't even think it was ideology, but he set it up that way. And that's what Matthew Dodd was saying. He got fired in less than 2 hours because he didn't show enough sympathy. I
Well,
thought he showed sympathy. He was just making a valid point. And then the next morning, you have fucking Joe Scarborough jumping on Matthew Dodd. And then he says, well, I called the president to give him my condolences. Fuck you, you little ass kisser. I worked with people like you fucking ass kisser. You called Trump to condolences for Charlie Kirk? Did you call Tim Walz for condolences about the legislators in Minnesota that died? Or did you agree with Trump that says, hey, they brought that on themselves?
see,
Okay?
that's the thing that upsets me. Here's a guy who is an absolute villain. He's talked every bad thing about every race, women, anti-Semitic. He's said some horrible things. I don't care that he died yesterday. He was a horrible fuck. That's just who he was. And if people are upset that I'm not sympathetic enough because he got shot, sorry, but I don't give a fuck. The thing about it is, he created the culture that killed him.
Yes.
Fuck around, find out. I mean, I'm sorry,
And,
but I'm pleased that he's no longer amongst us. I feel sorry for his kids because they don't know any better. Maybe his wife. But Jesus Christ, if you're going to go out, if you live by the sword, you're going
yeah,
to die by the sword. It's as simple as that.
it's like, and it happened in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Bright red state.
Utah. And so it's, it's, I mean, if he had dropped dead of a heart attack, I still would feel like, ah, what's for dinner? But see, but
Well, that's
that's
a,
okay because I'm not, but I don't care. The only thing that disturbs me that this is an act of political violence that basically is going to it's basically a lit match in this whole mess that Trump has created. Literally,
the thing about Charlie Kirk, I didn't know enough about him to hate him or dislike him. I knew he was on the other side. The fact that he died, I have no sympathy, not because I'm suggesting I hate him. I don't have any sympathy because I don't
they're
know him, and to
different.
me, he's inconsequential. He doesn't matter. He's a negative part of what we're trying to accomplish here, but I didn't think of him as a big deal. As the leader of the dumb fucks, you would expect somebody rise to the top of the dumb fucks, but the dumb fucks are like 30% of this country. So fuck that. I mean, he had a big audience. He had a big audience at this event at this Utah University. But you know what it is? It was a prove me wrong tour. He's going to debate
Right.
people.
That's what
So
he does.
a lot of people in that crowd were anti
Yes. They were there to
Charlie
debate
Kirk.
him.
Did you see that video? There's a video of, and this is a little sick. This is a little twisted. I wouldn't agree to this.
Okay.
This happens. There's a shot of the crowd. Charlie Kirk is shot and died on stage. There's some guy with a beard who looks like a MAGA guy, but is standing up looking at the camera, cheering and going, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you got him."
No.
That's
No, that
weird.
that's no, that I can't. No. I
Let,
see
let,
that's
let
the
me
thing. I'm not. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
let me throw out a couple possibilities. Everybody says, well, it's a liberal. I don't think it was a liberal. They don't behave like that typically. Or some people say it was Donald Trump himself. Sounds a little crazy, but who the fuck knows in this world anymore? How about this? How about just a standard Republican or a Trumplafuck shooting Charlie Kirk? And hear me out as to why. Prior to the election, Donald Trump says, yeah, we got to get the Epstein files out. We got to get the Epstein files out. Charlie Kirk jumped on board and said the same thing. We've got to expose the cabal. We've got to expose the Democrats. He's on board. So Donald Trump becomes president of the United States. And then he says, whoa, we're not going to release those files. It's a hoax. It's no big deal. Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes, when Donald Trump did that, they started talking shit about Donald
Yes.
Trump. Both Kirk and Fuentes did. They started talking shit, saying, "What are you doing? This isn't right, and this is lame." And it was talking shit about Donald Trump up until the time Donald Trump called Charlie Kirk. He
Yes.
called Charlie Kirk, and then what did Charlie Kirk do? He goes, "Oh shit, yeah, maybe it's a hoax, maybe it's nothing." He bent a knee to Donald Trump.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of people in the Republican Party in the base that still want the Epstein files out. They don't know why Donald Trump is not releasing them. Fuck's sake, look at the obvious. But those people are angry and they see their leader who was fighting with them to get those files out and then bends a knee to Donald Trump and says, "Yeah, it was a hoax." There's probably a lot of Republicans that are mad at that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Again, it that's I totally get it, but the way he was murdered was so precise. I mean, yeah, that's what bugs me about the whole thing. There's to me, we will never find out because the current FBI is run by a bunch of fucking clowns. But
There's
we'll see.
one other conspiracy or one other theory that's out there that I heard just before we came on. Not even thought about it because I had not heard this audio. There is audio of Charlie Kirk talking about the Epstein files and
Mhm.
talking how this was bigger than what we thought, which is probably true,
It is.
to the point where he said that Jeffrey Epstein was a an agent of Israel or Mossad, and there was some international. This isn't the first time I've heard that. That he, I mean, we're talking about $1 billion, $1.5 billion going through different channels. But
Sure.
some people say that he was an agent of the Israeli government or tied to Mossad or something like that. If that's true, if that's true, and we don't know if it's true, I'm not saying it's true, but anything is possible in this day and age because it's fucking crazy. If that is true, and Charlie went out and started talking shit about the Israeli government, which he did, and started talking about Jeffrey Epstein and how they're tied together, whether it's true or not, is it out of the realm of possibility that Mossad said, fuck it, let's just end it? And if they were involved, wouldn't it be this precise?
I mean, it's a possibility. Didn't an Israeli diplomat get thrown out for possible pedophilia? So,
Yes. Yes, I don't remember his name, but he was the ambassador to the United States
Right,
from England, and somebody talked to him recently because he was in the files and he went on the
right,
trips to the island and stuff, and he was questioned about it, and the guy was just shaky as hell, and he
right.
said, "Well, just suffice to say this, I'm not I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm sorry I ever met this man." Well, you weren't for the years that you were hanging out with him, and the next day he gets fired as ambassador to the United States. There's going to
There's
be a lot of that
consequences.
shit.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, so um, you know, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. We're gonna have to ride this fucker out. Whenever they find whoever they're gonna find, they'll twist it the way they want. I mean, again, now we have a big distraction from what's going on in Chicago, what's going on in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a man who does no longer have Fourth Amendment rights in certain situations. I mean, it's true. I mean, if I get stopped by ICE, I mean, I could show my driver's license. They don't have to take it. I was born and bred in the United States. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
There was a there was a guy who did a video talking about he was stopped by Meriton, Illinois police. Now Meriton is out a suburb of Chicago. He was stopped. He's a Hispanic guy. The cop didn't even come out. He just told him by speaker, wait, and he called ICE on him. Now Governor Pritzker has already said no police department is supposed to cooperate, and ICE showed up and he showed him his license. They go, we're not taking that. His driver's license is not good enough. He showed him his passport. They didn't believe him until he showed him his passport ID. Then they reluctantly left him alone. This guy was born in the United States. He looks like me. That's what happened. And he's like, and that's the point I'm saying. One thing, moving on to this, I keep hearing things about, like in your live, see, Temptation was saying, well, don't worry, the courts aren't doing a fucking thing anymore. NAACP, ACU, what are you going to, ACLU, what are you going to do? You went to court, and the Supreme Court said there were videos of civil rights lawyers, not white lawyers. White lawyers are going, no, you can still do this. No, Hispanic civil rights lawyers going, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say to you other than avoid it. Because they know when the Supreme Court says your Fourth Amendment rights, your due process, your probable cause rights, your habeas corpus is gone because the way you look, I can't do anything about it.
Well,
That's
the
scary,
court,
guys.
a lot of courts are doing what they're supposed to be doing in their findings, the federal courts and such. The problem we have is when it's sent up to the Supreme Court, if they decide to do the right thing, which they typically don't. The other part of it is the courts can find whatever they want to find, but if Donald Trump refuses to react to those or obey them, then what do you do? I mean, that's why I've said, watching what we're watching, it's all untenable. There is nobody watching the chicken house. The wolf is in the chicken house and he's got free reign to do whatever the fuck he wants.
And the
That's why unfortunately it seems like the only option is let the motherfucker burn down. That's
and
maybe the
the
only alternative.
and the problem is that you got people cheering on the wolf.
Yeah.
They're cheering on the wolf, and that's the worst thing. And like I said, I think part of the reasons I lost my count is that I said, look, we are not at peaceful protest anymore. If I get stopped by ICE, and my wife even said it, she goes, "What do you think?" She goes, "I'm waiting to go to a camp." This is my wife, who's a German, white. Okay, she's saying this, but then her next day when he gets, but I'll die first. I'll fight dying, and she's right. I will because I'd rather be dead than get dragged in there because I'm dead anyway. I've got
Yeah.
nothing to lose. Those people getting disappeared are gone. They're going into a private prison system the government's paying for, and they don't give a fuck about you because you're just a body and you get paid. And whether you're a live body or dead body, it doesn't matter. And I could hear everyone out there, well, you're overreacting. Yeah, sure. You know what they're doing in Florida? You hear about the autism camps in Florida?
No.
Okay. Do you remember how um, HSS under Kennedy started to look for information on people who have autism, tapping through through HIPAA laws, deciding who has autism? Parents of Florida autism children are getting phone calls from the State Department of Health wanting them to join a CDC sponsored therapy camp for autism. Background: RFK believes autism is a disease that can be fixed, not a condition. Okay? This man is obsessed with autistics. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he did that. But one woman that kind of literally had to leave the state, she said, "No, I don't want my child going there because it's not good. What's the purpose? Well, we can fix. You can't fix autism. It's something you live with. It's
Yeah.
part of who you are. We can fix it." Well, no, I'm not taking it. Next thing you know, Child Protective Services are calling her. And so the first thought I got is, you do know what the Germans did to test their final solution, right? Who they used very quietly, using the same tactics. People, mental health, disabled, and a few of the LBQTA community vanished or were taken to health camps. And that's where they experiment on the best way to kill human beings in mass situations. First, it was just, let's shove back up a truck, put them in a box, and shove up a hose in there, see how many die. And then IG Farben came up with the Zyklon gas. Look it up, people. It's the truth. And so now there's that going around in the background. There's so much screaming in the front, the chaos in the front. You don't see the background shit going on, the secret shit, the elimination of people, the people being disappeared. So don't come to me and say I'm overreacting or doomslaying. No, people, I'm telling you, we are at that point now. Peaceful protests don't mean shit to this administration. They don't care because the background is getting people vanished little by little. And it's not just Hispanics. Remember, they're picking up homeless people too. That's class, poor. If you're on the street, you go away. Where do you go? Who knows?
Well, then,
Tell
then,
me I'm
then
wrong,
you're
because I'm not.
you're 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 down in Georgia, and we have the situation with the Hyundai plant. I have a place down near Savannah, so I'm
Yes.
familiar with the Hyundai plant, and
Oh,
everybody was excited about it because it's going to be a lot of jobs and all that
500
stuff.
billion motherfucking dollars
And so
invested.
they're building this plant, and they've got South Korean people out there helping to put it together and train Americans to be able to do this. So this person who's running for a rep seat, uh, big time
Congress.
Trump humper. She has all kinds of problems herself. She's been married and divorced 5 times. She's been investigated or arrested for stalking and harassment. She's a fucking nutcase. So she's very proud of the calling in ICE on Hyundai. So they go in, they pull out 400 people or so. 300 of them are South Korean nationals, and they start to detain them or whatever. South Korea is not happy about this.
Oh,
They send a
fuck
plane
no.
over to get these people the fuck out of there. And here's the problem. This was going to create 8,500 jobs in that area, which is huge. It's going to pour billions, hundreds of billions of dollars into this state and to this country. And now South Korea is going, we don't feel safe. Fuck that. We're not
No.
doing this anymore. We're
And
done.
because the deal was, and this was part of it, is that they weren't using H-1B visas, would take fucking forever. They were
Right.
using temporary visas because they were only going to be here for a few months to train Americans how to use the equipment. Side note, saw a video of a guy who works in the uh, car manufacturing plants as an electrician, talking about the machinery they use to build cars and electric vehicles. It's all LG South Korean. And these guys come in to install it and train everyone. This is not just Hyundai. It's Hyundai, by the way, bitch, not Hyundai. God damn, I hated that. Um, but Ford uses them. GMC uses them. Toyota uses them. Nissan uses them. These Koreans come in and set it up, and then they train. They don't want to be here anymore. The president of South Korea is pissed. The Korean people are pissed. Okay, they shut
Yeah.
down that plant. Now here it gets worse. They're seriously discussing about pulling all of Hyundai out of here. They're also Hyundai had cut a deal. 100 and Hyundai doesn't just make cars. Hyundai builds ships, cargo ships. They're known for it before they went and got into the car business. They had done a deal in the United States for $150 billion to revitalize American shipbuilding, to build Hyundai ships. That's huge. Can you imagine that? To bring back American shipbuilding like it was? The jobs, all that? Nah, the entire investment in Hyundai in the United States is $1.5 trillion. That one woman, and there were other people around there, may have fucked $1.5 trillion. And what is Donald Trump's reaction to it? Eh, they should have been Americans.
But he was
Now
sure
he's saying,
crow
yeah,
about
we're going to
bringing
let
in
some
a
men
hundred
come.
million dollars from some other foreign country. I mean,
Yeah.
he's all about. That's how he keeps score. He makes money. Oh, this country's going to invest 500 billion. That one's going to invest 200 billion, and now he's losing over $1 trillion because once again, as I've always said, you can count on this. You can bet the house on it. Whatever Donald Trump does or the Republicans do, they will always fuck it up, fuck
And,
it up big time. And in this situation, they did fuck it up big time.
and talking about empathy and sympathy, okay? I am tired. Let me make this clear. You farmers, you're done, okay? And I mean, I've been seeing all the videos. They're begging Trump for another bailout. They're praying to God. God's not listening to you,
No.
okay? And I'll tell you why God's not listening to you, because you replaced him with Trump as your idol. And he don't dig that. Read the Ten Commandments. That's 1 and 2. Okay, no false God before me. Check that out. You're such good Christians. But I don't have sympathy for you because it's not a bad vote. It's not because you voted for him. It's because you made a bad business decision. Okay,
Yeah.
you knew from the first 4 years he was president what he did to you with the soybeans, and he bailed you out. But you came back and did it again. Okay, you knew what was going to happen. You made a bad business decision because Trump was going to fuck with the other people, not give them their SNAP or the Medicaid, and all them people in the cities. They deserve to be suffering. And we got to get rid of them immigrants too. And all of a sudden, you found out that U.S. aid isn't just money, it's shit you contracted for to put into your pocket. Foreign aid was not just cash. Foreign aid came to Americans either to build weapons or to make food. And those farmers in Nebraska are fucked. They can't get that back. There's soybean farmers in North Dakota, Arkansas, the most of the Midwest. You're fucked because the Chinese aren't buying your soybeans for two reasons. One, the tariffs. Two, Trump pissed them off. And three, I read an article where the soybeans you were sending were poor quality. You weren't keeping up with it. They don't want them. They're getting them from somewhere else. Once you fuck up a market and someone finds a replacement for it, you're out of the market. That is base business. Okay. So don't come to us after saying, that Trump was going to save you and then beg for money, beg for fucking socialism, and then expect us to feel bad for you. I do not. You made a bad business decision and you're going to end up selling your farm to a corporate company that JD Vance is an investor in. They all fucked you and we're not going to help you. And I don't feel bad for you. Red shirt, your funeral.
I will tell you this. I need to make this clear. This red shirt is not red. It's actually maroon. The lights or the camera make it look red. And I say this because if I ever put on a red shirt, my wife will say, "Take that shit off." She will say, "Take that shit off." But here's the thing: I've been watching farmers online crying and whining, say, "I can't believe you want us to fail, our kids to starve, to lose our farms. That's just sick. How can you say that?" And here's my answer to them. When you voted for Donald Trump the second time, you voted for that. You knew that people were going to starve, that other industries were going to be affected, that people would lose health care, and people were being attacked by these fucks. You knew. Don't tell me I'm unsympathetic because you're struggling right now, because the reason you voted was to marginalize all those people. You wanted to inflict pain to other people, just as long as it isn't you. So don't shame me for not having empathy for you. You got what you deserved. You got what you paid for. And now you got to deal with it. You're adults. We got to deal with our decisions.
And again, this is a bad. You knew better. And the thing about it is, the only thing that mattered to these people, and this every time this shit comes up, I think of the image at the RNC of these two older people, a man and a woman, with signs that said mass deportations. That's all you cared about.
Yeah.
You didn't think it would affect you. Yeah, but you're not getting your crops picked or taken care of. Okay. I mean, literally, someone said they expect. Literally, I saw this video of a farmer. Someone thought that since so many black people didn't have jobs, they would come take these jobs from the illegals. Because when Trump was saying that, they equated, you know, Mexicans are taking black jobs, they thought it was that. Let me kind of make it clear for y'all. They've been there, they've done that. They're not doing it. Okay, that's. I mean, they they wanted to. They the only thing that mattered was their hate and
Yeah.
own the libtards. And now you're realizing that you got sold and got conned, and every con man takes from you. And when you turn around and say, "Help me," he's going to say, "You fucked up. You trusted us,
Yeah.
and here you are."
And the thing about it is people will say, well, you're unsympathetic to the farmers. They're going to suffer. And that is true. And I'm sad that people have to suffer. But here's the deal. You voted for him the first time. You got fucked. You voted for him the second time. Apparently, you have to get your fucking hand burned on the stove before you learn. And I want you to learn. So go ahead, suffer. I'm
And
sorry,
then
but that's the way the world works.
and don't bring me the well. They're going to affect the food supply. These are soybean farmers.
Right. We
Okay,
don't use them.
cash crop. That those were designated for outside the United States. They're not affecting the food supply. They're already outside the food supply. Now, I would recommend to you guys to store up on soybeans because you're going to be eating a lot of tofu because that's all you got.
Yeah.
And that's the point. I don't. They didn't understand their own thing that worked for them. Everyone said they're kind of smart. Yeah, they know about ratios, fertilizer, and all that. I mean, anyone can learn that, but they keep forgetting who the market is and where you're getting paid. And the majority were getting paid by the federal government. Subsidies, farm subsidies are always part of it. Now they pulled the plug on them, and you guys are screwed. Welcome to the real world of the open market. Bye. You made a
What
bad
happened?
decision.
What happened to them was that they're in business, but they allowed emotions and ideology to affect their business. Now, I've been
Yes.
in business myself, and I've owned some businesses. And the thing I know about it is you got to use logic and common sense. Emotion doesn't play well in businesses. You've got to have a level hand, a level mind, and do the right things for your business in order for your business to succeed. What they did is they took their hatred for immigrants or people of color and their support of their Lord and Savior. They took their emotions and said, "Hey, I trust that motherfucker to do me the right way I need to be done." And you fucked up because he doesn't know anything, because he is stupid.
Mhm.
He's failed in 6 or 7 businesses, and now he's your main consultant for your business? That's just fucking stupid.
I mean, again, it, you want the best example of business, just watch The Godfather. It's not personal, it's just business.
Right.
Okay. And the one thing I will never forget watching a movie is at the end when they're taking away one of the guys played by Ed Vigoda, and he knows he's screwed. He turns to Tom Robert Duvall's character. Goes, "Hey, for old time's sake," he said, "Sorry, it's business. You fucked up. You made a bad business decision. Your consequences." And again, do do I have empathy for him? God, I wish I did. Because to lose your empathy for humanity is the worst thing. And that's what they've driven out of us. It's hard. They've driven it out of us. I can't feel sorry for you because to feel sorry for you means that you're going to do something bad to me later on. You've already proven it. You can't be trusted.
Right.
And so you don't get sympathy and you just get the consequences. Because face it, the federal government doesn't care. They don't. At this point, the federal government is the federal government only cares about one thing: ICE and DHS. They are getting the bulk of the budget right now. And speaking of budget, is a nice transition statement. Really good, though. September 30th is coming up.
Yep.
And through all this chaos, it's time to make another stopgap bill. Because the big, beautiful budget bill, where the fuck it still was part of the stopgap. You still got to fund it. And he wants to fund it to January 26th. Trump is pushing him. Now, Democrats have a chance to do what they should have done months ago, because them not doing it led to the bill. And I'll stand on that, and I will die on that hill. Fuck you. You think Chuck Schumer did the right thing to keep the government going to affect people? Guess what? People are fucked anyway.
Yeah.
All the things you said was going to happen if they shut the government down happened anyway. So now here we are. All the billions and millions burning money for the National Guard, for the ICE, is just burning through. And now they want more. They want to keep it going. And come September 30th, you have a chance to turn off the spigot. But Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are talking about negotiations. Negotiate what? Shut the motherfucker down and make them come to you. And
I
then
think they
say,
can.
yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think they want to try to negotiate less cuts to Medicaid and
Fuck
do all this
that.
stuff. But if you'd done it right in the first place, you wouldn't have to be fucking putting out a fire that should have never started. And now is the time. The Republican Party is weaker than ever. They've got more
Yes.
problems. This is the time to play hardball. Shut the motherfucker down. Like you said, it was a choice of either shutting it down and maybe having problems. I would submit to you right now the problems we have now because of what Donald Trump has done far exceeds anything that would have happened in the government shutdown.
And they still, I listened to Jeffrey's talking about, and he's talking about negotiation. I know where you're going, man. You're again not seeing the big picture. This is an opportunity to put a huge wrench in this fucking disgusting machine.
Yeah,
All the money is in ICE and DHS. You know why they won't catch that guy that shot Charlie Kirk? Because FBI agents are going on fucking immigration raids.
right.
They're not doing their jobs. And you old motherfuckers, you fucking standard barriers are still living in the world of we could get along. No, it is time to put up a wall and make them bust it down. You can do it. What are you afraid of? because even the Supreme Court cannot say the budget can go through. It ain't in the Constitution.
Right.
Sorry, it's all in Congress. And that's the thing. And I listened to these guys. I even Schumer and Jeffries had a press conference about what happened with Kirk. It was bogus. They're weak. Chuck Schumer is still sounding like he sounds like the teacher from Ferris Bueller talking about tariffs and everyone's half asleep. I can't emphasize enough, you dumbasses. Don't negotiate with them. Tell them we're going to shut it down and then we'll talk. Period.
Yeah.
Have some balls. Don't say we don't want to hurt the government. The government's fucked anyway. People are fucked anyway. I mean, there are people getting tossed out of nursing homes because they won't be in Medicaid. SNAP is gone. Jobs are disappearing. They don't have any support. And you're fucking around with this? Just
Right.
shut it down. Period.
Here's
And
the
then
thing.
negotiate.
Chuck Schumer's term goes to 2029. We can't get him out by election for a little while, but they do need to take him out of leadership. Now, Hakeem Jeffries is probably up.
He's up next year because he's a congressman.
Right. He's up
26.
next year. He needs to go, or at least give away his leadership because they aren't leaders.
Well,
They're
and you
fucking
want
complicit with the Republicans. As long as they trust the Republicans and want to negotiate with the Republicans, as far as I'm concerned, they're complicit. We
right.
can't do anything when we have
How
leaders
can
that
you
are fucking weak like that.
how can you negotiate with Mike Johnson, who said that Trump was an FBI informant? Oh, sorry, I was mistaken. He fucking lied. Okay, he
Yeah,
fucking lied. And he was one of the first to blame Democrats for what happened to Charlie Kirk. One of the first. And you
absolutely.
want to negotiate with that? No. Again, you guys are dumb. And you want to prove how stupid this upper echelon of the Democratic Party. Let me make this clear. I do not believe both parties are the same. If I hear that far left argument one more time, no, I'm going to, no, we're not. Because the last time I didn't think Democrats were supporting fascism. Don't talk about Gaza and AIPAC. That's a different cat. Okay? Don't bring that to me. But speaking on that vein, again, Jeffries, whose district is in New York City, Schumer, Hochul are not supporting Zoran Mondani for New York mayor. They rather have another sexual predator, Andrew Cuomo, as mayor.
Right.
Andrew Cuomo is
Who lost
beholden
the
to Donald
primary?
exactly badly. And also, he's beholden to Donald Trump. Trump has been trying to get rid of the Republican candidate, who's a joke. No one's going to vote for him. And Eric Adams, like telling him to go, somewhere else. We'll give you some, I'll give you an ambassadorship. So it's just him and Cuomo. Like that's going to help Cuomo. Okay. Don't bring me this socialism, communism bullshit. Fuck you. You don't even know what those words mean. Well, the rich are going to leave New York. No, the rich are not going to leave New York. They got too much invested.
Where
If
are
they
you going to
lose a
go?
little bit, tax more money, they're
Toledo?
still going to have money. I mean, he's talking to the people and he makes fucking sense. And that scares the hell out of them because they're big, rich donors. And unfortunately, that's the one thing Democrats and Republicans have in common is rich folk that get their way every motherfucking time.
Well,
And this man is saying, fuck it. This is for the people of New York. And it's
well,
practical.
what you're talking about though is exactly the problem with politics in general. People like Schumer, Hochul, like Hakeem Jeffries, they look at a guy who got legitimately won the primary over Cuomo and is going to run as the Democratic candidate and will probably win because no Republican candidate is going to win that position. And They're saying, no, not what the people want, what we want. And that's what you have to
Exactly.
recognize. And you have to stop that shit because this is what they always do. We're going to run it our way. Don't worry about it. We got it. Fuck you. We let you run it your way. We are where we are now. Let's learn a lesson. So when that guy wins, I'm going to be interested to see what they fucking do. When the
Well, of
people
course.
speak and they don't do what they want them to do, they're going to freak out and they're going to
Yeah, and
realize their time is short.
yeah, part of it too is that he's already telling people, we're going to have to prepare for Donald Trump invading New York. He's
Yeah.
been saying that in his campaign speeches.
Yeah.
And because here's the thing, because he's saying that I'm fighting for you guys. Andrew Cuomo will roll over for Trump because he's in Trump's pocket. Yeah, because the first time person Cuomo called after he lost the primary was Donald Trump. Why? Like calls to like. Remember, Andrew Cuomo left the governorship under a cloud of sexual abuse
Yeah.
of people, women around him. And those who have been accused were harangued, harassed by his people. We know this for a fact. And he's going to lead the city of New York? Okay, I mean, that's just Donald Trump in the city of New York
Right.
with another accent. Okay, guys? And I don't think New Yorkers are that fucking stupid. They're not. They are in Staten Island, but they're not in the majority of New York.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't see how Cuomo has a prayer.
no,
I hope this kid wins just to
I,
scare the shit out of the people that should know
but
better.
the point is that it's like he's not doing anything drastic. These are fixes that are practical, and the Republican and Democratic Party are so afraid of practical progressive ideas because they've been convinced that from 40 years of Reaganism that that's a bad way to go. No, because you're seeing right now when you don't have competent government, and economy management, you have chaos and loss. You have chaos and loss. And don't buy into the new Trump mantra. Give us a year, everything will be better. It's not 2 weeks anymore. Give us a year, and there'll be plenty of jobs. No, you
Well,
stagnated the economy. It's
this New
dying on the
York
vine.
mayor election, this New York mayor election is coming up November of 2025. So we're a couple of months away,
Yeah, we're a couple months down. Yeah,
and I'm excited about that. While you know the mayor of New York doesn't affect the rest of the country directly, that's going to send a message to a lot of people. That's going to set a tone. If Mondani Dami wins the New York mayorship, all these old people are going to go, oh shit, the tide is turning. We've got this
right.
Telerico guy down in Texas who is well thought of. He's a local guy, and he's running for the U.S. Senate, and people love this guy, and he's a solid candidate. There's a lot
Right.
of young people out there running right now, and when they start winning, you're going to see these old people start to freak the fuck out.
I mean, again, background noise because no one's saying anything. Last few special elections for congressional seats were won by Democrats. Huge,
Right.
huge numbers. I mean, in pretty good purple areas. I mean, that's the thing. We were talking about the Hyundai thing. That dumb broad thinks that her doing that's going to get her the nomination and win the seat. No, that area is blue
Yeah.
in Georgia. It's purple around here. John Ossoff is going to win the Senate seat again. There's no one who's going to beat him.
No.
I mean, there's practicality still. And they know this. That's why all of the machinations of paper ballots and cheating. I mean, that Michigan judge threw out the false electors case. That was a conviction. They were guilty of fraud, but
Yeah.
they threw it out to make Trump look good again. I mean, the fear is palpable with Republicans. Why? Another reason why they're freaking out during this time with the Kirk thing is that they need something to grip on to blame Democrats for because they have so fucking screwed the pooch. That's all they
Yeah.
got. They have
It's
screwed the
true. It's
pooch.
desperation.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying now. Unfortunately, desperation because they have the mechanics of power. leads to what we're seeing now, the heavy use of National Guard, the heavy use of ICE in blue cities, which I'm hearing is they're doing their thing, but they're getting a lot of pushback and
Yeah.
peaceful pushback, but I don't know how long that's going to last.
Well,
It's not good.
especially if the Republicans start to ramp up the violence sort of thing. It's one thing to go against the National Guard, but when you've got Trumplafucks who start attacking uh, presumably liberal organizations like the HBCU colleges or the DNC or such, um, don't you think what I'm worried about the Charlie Kirk thing is that was a violent situation. We don't know who did it, why they did it, but it is enough of a spark to set off some of the things we've talked about before, the violence, the inevitable violence of this. You can only do so much to so many people before they push back when they've got nothing to lose.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing. I'm getting to the point. I mean, I know personally I have nothing to lose. Honestly, I'm being honest, guys. I mean, I know I was in a live and it, Jay was a little pissy, says doomslaying, the end of the world as we know it. Yeah, because the world that I knew, I had constitutional rights.
Right.
We all did. Now we don't. Because if you wear an ICE agent, most of those guys are Trump fucks, they're 3%ers, oath keepers, proud boys. I know
Yeah.
what they are. They're not cops. They're
No.
not. They're white supremacists given power. So the world I knew is gone. So we're getting to the point that how much longer can we be peaceful? Because Trump doesn't give a fuck about peaceful protest. He
Now,
doesn't.
now, let me just say, talk about your situation. I'm a firm believer that once you lose all hope, there's no point in even going on. Just so there's always got to be some hope. The situation you're in is a little different. If you were a Hispanic man living in Minnesota, you probably wouldn't be worried as much. But you're in Georgia, and that's a
Right.
different experience than we have here. Granted, I'm a white guy in Minnesota. I don't have any problems with regard to that. But it has as much to do where you're located as it does the color of your skin. And you happen to be in a purple
I'm behind
state
enemy
of
lines.
Georgia. Yeah,
I mean,
essentially, that's
but
true.
but if I was living back where I was before in Southern California, I'd be in the heat of shit too, because Trump is concentrated down in Los Angeles first. Um, it's what I'm saying is like when push comes to shove, I'm going to shove to the
Yeah.
point that because I'm pinned, and I know if they take you, it's basically if they take you, you're gone. If they get a hold of you, you're gone. There is no due process. You don't have the system that's designed to protect your rights that our forefathers came up with. That was for decades reinforced by the Supreme Court until recently. That court ruling by Brett Kavanaugh is no better than the Dred Scott ruling. That's
Agreed.
just as bad. It's the same thing. And you can't say anything to them because they sit high on a hill. I don't know what's going on up there, but they no longer believe in the Constitution. They believe in Trump and the Heritage Foundation or whatever.
Yeah.
And not even Federalists can believe that that's right because there's no alien invasion. There, we are not an invasion. We've been part of this country for centuries. So I don't. I mean, I like to see the peaceful protest, but what did it change? Nothing. Trump went out to dinner in D.C. the night that Putin sends in drones into fucking Poland. Where was this fat ass eating steak and seafood and in a DC restaurant to prove that I own all this, I am king? And how
Right.
those ladies got within 5 feet of the president of the United States? 5 fucking feet. I've seen the video. Disturbs me. Who the fuck is wording his security? Because
Yeah.
honestly, if one of them was literally a suicide bomber, it would have been over.
Yeah.
No one is checking anything. This is the incompetency. I'm not talking about I wanted things to happen to Trump. That bothered me from a security point. The President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense were 5 feet from people that could have been a hostile intent and a threat to them. And no one stood. Let me make this clear. Any other Secret Service agent would have grabbed them and thrown them on the ground and grabbed those ladies and drug them out right away. You know it. I know it. We've seen it. Not here.
To
There is
quote,
something wrong going on.
Maxwell Smart, when you say you have the vice president, the president, and the director or the secretary of defense, all that close to some people that could be at risk. To quote Maxwell Smart from Get Smart, the TV show of the '60s, missed it by that much.
Yeah, but see, that's tells you the competency of that. That's not I'm the man. No one's gonna mess with. No, you're out of your goddamn minds
That's
doing
reckless, is
that.
what it is.
It's
And
reckless.
frankly, if they want to be reckless and stupid, God bless them. Let's hope something goes
But
wrong.
I don't wish that. See, that's the thing. I don't wish that. That would have been horrible. That would have been chaotic. Do you know who
Yeah,
would be president of the United States at that point?
Mike Johnson.
Okay. Hello, welcome. See that? I mean, you guys, you don't get us. It's not the point that we want anyone to pass away. We just see the incompetence. And watching that on the night that Putin pulls that, okay? Now, I know what you talk about in the live. NATO reacted. The Poles reacted. The Russians don't get it. Putin doesn't get it. He thinks, again, old school like Trump. He thinks that if he rattles a few things, people will bow to the power of Russia. No,
Right.
we've seen the Ukrainian army fucking punk you for 2 years.
Right.
Okay. The only reason you're up is because you have ordnance. All right. But Ukrainians warned the Poles that this was coming, and the Poles sent aircraft. NATO sent aircraft, and then they shot down 19 drones, and I think there was a missile or two involved. Okay. Of course, my ass. All right. That was a test what NATO would do. And what he found out is that NATO doesn't need the United States.
Right.
They don't. Joe Biden left NATO in a better position than what it was. NATO is the strongest it's been in 60 years without the United States. Because before Biden left, they did have meetings, European countries, that if Trump becomes president, we have to look out for ourselves. Also, I know someone in that live was saying, well, NATO's weak. No, NATO added 2 more members under the Biden administration, Sweden and Finland. Where do they sit? Top of the Russian northern border. One of the reasons that Putin has troop problems is because he has to keep troops on the northern border now. And trust me, those 2 countries' armies alone would crack the Russian army in half. So
Well,
the
see,
point,
yeah, that's the thing is that everybody thought the Russian army was so powerful. Now they're fighting for 3, 4 years with Ukraine, and Ukraine is holding them off. What happens if they invoke Article 5 and then 30 plus countries say, "We're coming, Russia. Fuck you."
I mean, then you basically Trump becomes the smartest man on the cinder, I guess. Um, Honestly, that would be a disaster. I mean, that's what everyone was talking about. That's bad because you got madmen, literally madmen with their fingers on nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Crazy people. Putin and Trump are fucking maniacal narcissists who will do anything to defend themselves. Now, it's a good thing that Trump is Putin's bitch, which has come of benefit to us. But if you push Putin in the corner, he won't give a fuck. If I can't have it, no one's going to have it. And
Do you
he
think?
would
Do you
do it.
think? Do you think Vladimir Putin, when he sent those, it wasn't a mistake. He knew what he was
No, it
doing.
wasn't a
Those
mistake.
have
We know that.
GPS. When he sent that in there, was he trying to embarrass or test the resolve or loyalty of Donald Trump?
I don't think he gave a fuck about Donald Trump because he knows Donald Trump. will support him anyway. Don't believe the NATO ambassador. We will defend every inch of NATO territory. Fuck you. You just saying that because you had to. No, he was testing what NATO would do. Would NATO cry about it? Would NATO go to the United States knowing that Trump would tell him no? What he found out is that the NATO countries, every fucking one of them, don't need the United States. They turned around and told Putin, go ahead. As we started this out, we're your huckleberry.
Right.
We're ready. Because that's the point. The defense department, Germany raised their defense budget. France raised the defense budget. Sweden and Finland did. The Poles have been waiting for this fight for years because they have some basically they have some World War II bullshit to finish with the Russians. Okay,
Right.
that ain't going to happen. The Poles have been invaded too many times to let that happen again. That would not be a good thing. And that's the point. We're dealing with old school mechanics in the head. Putin is old KGB, where the Russians did their things anywhere. It's not that way anymore. They went through Belarus. Yeah, that's great. But the first thing NATO would do would take them out of the picture.
Right.
The point is, he doesn't want that he does not want a conventional war with NATO. He would lose. He will go to the last step. That's the only thing keeping people off. That's why they rattle the nuclear, we're going to nuke everyone button. Meanwhile, in the background, the Chinese are making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
Deals with India, deals with the Asian markets, basically even putting out feelers with Thailand. Hey, don't worry about it. We don't want to invade you anymore. Let's make some deals. You can't trust the United States because we put tariffs on Thailand. Not Thailand. I mean to am I right?
Taiwan.
Thailand, Taiwan,
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Good lord, sorry, Thailand too, but Taiwan. They made. I mean, that's gone. Have you noticed that that military thing's kind of gone
Yeah.
because in the background, Trump fucked it all up. This isolation and bullshit is not working because China is sitting there, and you got to remember this, guys. We know the Chinese are a communist, fascist, authoritarian government. We know this for a fact. They're an authoritarian government hiding behind their communist beliefs. But the Chinese for centuries have been one thing, businessmen and traders. And they
Yeah.
know how to do business. And Trump, again, you take away markets, you ruin a market, and people go somewhere else, and they found it. And that's the thing. We with all the chaos and screaming in front, the background is worse because things are happening that have weakened the United States in less than in a little over 8 months.
Right.
In 8 months, Trump has basically destroyed the fabric of the United States, destroyed the military, crushed the economy, made everyone paranoid, and here we are. I mean, how bad could it be? I think some people have said when the election came out. Well, guess what? We ain't seen nothing yet, I think.
Yeah.
And that's a scary
Well,
thought.
well, with Taiwan, for example, I don't presume to absolutely know, but my guess is that China had a problem with Taiwan because of the influence America had over Taiwan.
Yeah.
And they didn't want us to take over Taiwan directly or indirectly. So now that Donald Trump has made the United States inconsequential to these places, they're not involved in anything. There's no pressure anymore. We'll cut a deal with you. We'll keep it safe. We don't have to have a war. We'll just do deals amongst us because America fucked you.
And
Um, and this is again Donald Trump's responsibility.
and he doesn't take. I mean, the job. What was he? He was saying again. The jobs. What 20-something thousand jobs? It's a disaster again. Job
Yeah.
market. Actually, with the even with his new Bureau of Land Statistics guy, they're 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 showing that he's lost jobs
Yeah.
again. He's lost jobs, and he's blaming the Fed because the interest rate.
Yeah.
Dude, the Fed is thinking about cutting the interest rate, but guess what? That's not going to help
No.
because how can you do investment when there's nothing to invest in? Again, you stagnated the markets. A good example. a great example would be, and British John brought it up, and I was thinking about it. Brexit was a racist thing. Understand the reason that a lot of British voted for Brexit because they were afraid of immigrants and the other, and this is going to be change everything. And England first, right? But
Right.
what you did is you killed your European markets. You crushed it. That's why the conservatives finally ended up getting rushed out. You killed their markets, and everyone's turning around going, no one's buying our stuff. Yeah, because with the system, everyone traded well, even if you were keeping the pound. Without the system, you have to go through the EU and reset everything, and they don't have to give you sweetheart deals because you left. They
Right.
have no market. And that is why Britain is taking so long to even rebuild an economy because they got nowhere to have an economy with. You can't do that. And that's what we're doing here. It doesn't work. Isolationism never works. It didn't work for the Japanese. And until Perry found out, and then later on, they started to expand, it became better for them. You
Right.
have to, and then we're dealing we're dealing with people in charge who think that if they get everything under their control, United States, everything will be okay for them.
Right.
Even businessmen are starting to go, oh, this doesn't look good. Yeah, because you ain't gonna have anything to sell to. Be rich on what? Rich with whom? For what? It doesn't. It's they're seeing that, but they don't have the balls to call it out. But for some reason, again, as long as Trump lives, he has this fucking aura that everyone caters to. And I don't get it. I don't. A
Well, you bring something
ridiculous.
up. How, as long as Donald Trump lives, I don't know if you saw today a couple of things. There was, after the Charlie Kirk thing, Donald Trump put out on True Social a video of him talking um, about Charlie Kirk, and there was a
Mm-hmm.
big hubbub about it that it was AI. And if you watched it, it looked kind of AI-ish. I don't know if it was. Personally, I think it was him doing a couple of videos, and it was an AI edit. That's why it looked so
Okay.
fucking weird. I think that's what happened. But then he's at the 9/11 memorial in
I haven't
Arlington.
seen
Take a look at. I'm sure most people have seen it. Take a look at the picture. He's sitting there, falling asleep as he does. But there are several
that. In New York?
pictures
Or
where.
was this in New York or Arlington?
No,
Or was it near the Pentagon? He's at the Pentagon?
I'm not sure. I thought it was in Arlington.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
Pentagon. Pentagon site then. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, he's sitting there, and it was a weird situation because he wasn't talking. He was almost falling asleep, but his face, the whole left side, right side of his face, hung down. It kind of drooped. It kind of drooped. Check it online. I know a lot of other people have. I've looked at it a number of times. I talked about it,
Okay.
but his mouth was like this, but it was drooping on one side. We know what that is. It could be one of
Stroke.
two things. It could be a stroke. I know my grandmother had it too with something called Bell's palsy, which isn't terminal, but I don't think that's what it is. When you look the way he is and behave the way he is, she behaved normally. It was just muscles in her face. But a stroke is a different thing. And take a look at that picture. Um, just put in Trump and droopy face, and you'll see it. And you'll go, holy fuck, that looks like a problem. A good
That is a
problem to have, hopefully.
it's a problem. And again, I don't know how he got I, I was thinking, man, he's up and running again. How do they do it? And then my evil, sick mind was thinking, okay, they removed homeless people from DC. Maybe they drained them of blood and put it into Trump's
Well,
somehow.
it's
Some miracle.
he's probably being propped up at opportune times with Adderall or whatever other drug that keeps him up.
How much more
But
drugs
but
can you pump into that body?
well, eventually it's going to kill you. There's just no question about it. And Donald Trump, I think he sees that he's in some trouble that he may not be able to fix. But like you say, as long as he's alive, people are going to support him or be afraid of him. I
Right?
just don't think that period of time is all that long. And once that happens, we can at least start to normalize some things and then
Well, it ain't
hopefully
gonna be
get
normal.
back on the trail after the elections.
Yeah, normal is never going to happen. It's going to be,
Not
it'll
like
be a
we knew it.
now new. It never. It's going to normal will be resetting everything because everything's a mess, and it's not going back to where it was. Because that's the thing. When you have something like this that ends, and I thought this is a good history point. After the World War II, right? Everyone that went home to Britain, especially soldiers or the people who were been in Britain, they expected everything to be the same
Yeah,
aristocratic, same life. What they didn't realize is that society changed behind them.
right.
And that's why when Winston Churchill ran for re-election, he was defeated. It was over. It was time to move on. And what we're going to see is that if when that ends, and I'm talking about you fucking Democratic elite, you're thinking, okay, we can get back to it. No, 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 no. No, that ain't gonna work. First of all, there will be massive trials.
Yeah,
A lot of people are going to have to pay for this shit. A lot of those people, those so-called cops out there running around, starting around, we will find you, and you will find out how that ends for you. Not well. Those
yeah,
prisons that you built, like you suggested, Mike, handy as hell. We'll just put a few more walls up. It's worth the money to keep you
yeah,
guys locked up for a while. The Republican Party, yeah, you're going to be running for the hills because people will remember what you did. And as for the Democratic Party, the upper leadership is going to have to figure out, you're going to have to step aside because we're going to have to rebuild this thing from the bottom up. Your faults have shown up because right now, like we discussed, you're approaching this disaster like you used to. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight. And you know what? It's not a regular knife. You're bringing a plastic knife and
right.
you're going to get your ass handed to you because
We're
Republicans are counting on that. They want it. So the
we're
point is, when this is over, everything's going to change.
yeah.
Everything.
We're getting close to the downside of the podcast, but I wanted to bring something up. I mentioned early on that while we were recording, there was going to be a press conference with the FBI and people in
Oh,
Utah.
okay.
Okay. Tonight, authorities tonight shared a video that showed the suspect jumping off the roof of a university building after Kirk was shot. Utah Governor Spencer Cox urged the public for assistance in finding the shooter. So my point here is that's interesting. I see the screenshot of it.
What's he look
I
like?
want to look at. It just looks like a guy running away from a building.
Yeah. Does he look like a
I didn't
white
see the
guy?
video.
Young white
That's a
guy?
white guy. Yeah, that's
Yeah, white guy.
a white guy
Yeah.
in black.
Mm-hmm.
And but the interesting thing is, it's been going on 36 hours at the time we record this, and the FBI is on the job, and all they got is some CCTV footage of who they
Yeah.
think did it, and Cash Patel and the FBI and everybody, their only answer to this thing is, I'm putting the video out so you people can help us. No, bitch, you're the FBI. Tell us, catch the motherfucker. Don't tell us who did it until you catch him. And I don't think
There,
they'll catch him.
no, there are fired FBI directors and agents right now sitting around with drinks in their hand going, told you so.
Yeah.
Told you so. Because I will guarantee you one fucking thing is that the director of the FBI that got fired, she already, with that much, there was things going on, she would have had feelers out. She would have found out maybe something was going on. It would have warned Secret Service, warned local police that something's going on. I know this. The FBI used to be competent, used to figure stuff out, but now it's a loyalty test. And it's stupid to watch FBI agents, supposed FBI agents, walking through DC looking for people drinking on their porch.
Hmm.
I mean, come on. I mean, you guys, all those people that are doing that are low level skanks who were not competent enough to move up. But since the company people were fired, you put them in there. All they have to say, do you love Donald Trump? Yes, sir. Anytime, sir. Whatever you want, sir.
Yeah,
And so is this guy going to get away with it? It's going to be a long haul. Will they find a scapegoat to drag him out and manufacture evidence?
that's a possibility.
Possibility. I mean, shit.
But
I mean,
if like you and I were talking about, if this was a coordinated um, job by somebody in a higher situation, and this guy was professional to some extent, and it looks like he may have been the way this all went down. If that's the case, by now that motherfucker's gone. He's out of the country.
I mean, it's not like, when in Trump's speech, he was talking about the guy that shot the United Health um,
Right.
CEO. He dropped that in there as part of leftist terror. Really, Big Pharma must have happy loved you that. I know why you did it. You did it because you want those corporates to be afraid because you're next.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, did everyone kind of celebrate that? Yeah, I'm sorry, we did. Because all the stories that came out later about United Health and how they treated people were accurate.
Yeah.
And they took a lot of hit for it. And that's the thing. This is what you're seeing right now is very, very desperate and very. The one thing I'm worried about with this setting off the MAGA fucks, my wife even mentioned it. She brought up Kristallnacht,
Yeah.
where they blamed Jews or something, and they went on a rampage, breaking Jewish shops and everything, which helped you know expedite the Holocaust, or was one of the reasons for the Holocaust. I mean, this is something like it. Now, the one thing I would say, what targets you going to get? And also, be honest, these guys are just a bunch of,
Yeah.
and the only reason anything's going on is because the federal government need ICE agents, and they're taking every, Tom, Dick, and Cletus in for to put a vest on them. Some of them should, some of them, some of them just should not be doing that job. God, some of those pictures are just
A
horrendous.
lot of people, think that the Republicans are successful in distracting from Epstein and all the other things because of this Charlie Kirk thing. Here's what
Mm-hmm.
we've learned about the media and we've learned about this country and this particular government. This ain't going to last long.
Now,
Charlie Kirk wasn't anybody. They're going to be appalled. They're going to be upset. They're going to do all this stuff, and then something else will happen to
right?
distract them. Epstein stuff is going to come back up. We're going to see more next week. We're going to hear more shit. It's just going to stir things up. It's going to piss more people off. It's going to scare more people. And that just puts us in a situation that's more volatile. Donald Trump is flailing right now. He's doing everything he can to save
Yeah,
his life, and he's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able
yeah.
to save himself because he's at that point where he can't handle and control everything anymore. And that is the ultimate death of any narcissist.
And yeah, and there's going to be some more egregious stuff. Again, I don't have answers for you. And if people are thinking that I'm overreacting, fine. I don't give a shit anymore. I mean, because my life is not your life, and I see things from a different standpoint. Um, I don't know how much longer peaceful protests will go on, and I'm waiting for ICE to go into a hard target where someone says fuck it," and see what happens. Because Trump always said, also in that speech, goes, "They're attacking ICE agents." Not yet, but we'll see what happens.
When they start
Because
attacking ICE agents, you'll see a lot of people quitting and people backing off. You know
yeah,
what? Given this happened to Charlie Kirk in Utah, why not send the National Guard into Utah? Send them into Salt Lake City. See how
yeah,
the Mormons like that shit.
That would be, that's the first thing I thought. Yeah, so much, the streets of Utah crime. Just put this is chaos. And I think the hardest thing for us is just everyday chaos. Chaos here more and more. It just drives you, it's hard. It presses down on you. And then you have, and as we're coming to the end, discuss, TikTok is about ready to go psychopathic in 2 days.
So it
Now, I got
seems.
ran. Yeah, I got ran. I'm done. I deleted the app. I don't care anymore. I did my thing. One point I thought was going well, but I have to understand there are many people out there that have really that's old TikTok is gone,
Right.
where
It
you have to
is.
be do something really egregious to get it banned, and now they let anything go on if it benefits them. I don't care anymore. Okay, I'm going to miss some of the cat videos of some of the really funny people that did TikToks. Hopefully, they'll drift over to YouTube. Um, but I'm still going to do my thing, even if it's four people watching it on Substack or YouTube, because I have to, because I need this more as a mental release than anything else.
How do they
So
find you on Substack and YouTube? Just tell them
yeah, so
that.
YouTube is just basically old school. Minder 38 US on Substack, and the same thing on YouTube. Um, Substack, I finally figured out how to put the videos back up, so you'll start seeing some videos. I might do a live or two. Count some time. I've been time pressed the last few days, and you and I talking about doing a live on Substack. I don't know how that works. I guess we have to be friends. I don't know if you friended me. I don't know how that works.
Oh, that's easy
I
enough to
might,
fix. No, I've
yeah,
done it before with Eric. I did
yeah,
it with Eric once, and I want to do more, you
right,
know, co-host type things
because
on Substack because we got a good audience that comes regularly. It's
right,
not huge like TikTok, but I don't give a fuck. If you're
yeah,
there and you want to talk, let's talk.
yeah, and I think, I mean, people watch this podcast, and we still do. We'll do the podcast. I mean, I don't have a money invested or money. What's the word I'm looking for? An income thing on this. I
Right.
just do it because I do it. I mean, that's the best I can say because I think sometimes you have to release stuff, and if someone enjoys it, fine. If don't, hey. But if I don't know if you guys will see this on TikTok, if you do, again, don't look for me there. Substack, YouTube, Binder 38 US. I got 123 followers on YouTube. Yay. A Substack 23. I don't care. But if you want to come find me, that's fine. Substack, I'm going to figure out what you said. They can allow you to do essays, and I'm pretty good with essays, so I might be looking at that also. Just put it in there. As for subscriptions and stuff, I have no idea how that works. If you guys want to support me and I do that, sure, no problem. I'm ready for early retirement. Human beings are not fun to work with, but here, the only value I will give you is that I am not going to lie to your asses. I
Yeah.
am not going to sugarcoat this. I think one of the reasons that TikTok rolled me because I don't care. I don't, because it is what it is. I've lived a different life than a lot of you guys have. And I've seen some different shit, but I think it's a good thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I was talking to I believe someone the other day about the farmers. Part of the problem with farmers is that they've never left their county. They've never experienced life outside of that freaking dirt, which is fine. But once in a while, you have to go out and see things. Yeah, no, literally, I think I was talking to my youngest son, and I go, because he was making a comment about something. I go, they're lucky. We went places. We've seen this country. They've seen mountains, lakes, tropics.
Yeah.
They've experienced stuff. And that makes my kids very well rounded and they look at life in a good way. I think part of the problem why Charlie Kirk and all of his ilk have such that influence, a lot of these people don't have that. They're isolated. And it gives them something is what fascists want. It gives them an
Yeah.
identity. And they can't see beyond that identity because Anything else beyond it is evil. That's how they sell you.
Yeah.
So the only advice I'd have to everyone is that, man, make sure your life is a lot more than just where you live. It's kind of sad that you need to read, you need to experience, you need to see things and listen to things. It's not wrong to be a nerd, but you can be a nerd about documentaries, you can be a nerd about science, you can be a nerd about a lot of stuff because it expands your life. And again, this thing has so much information on it now.
Yeah.
You can go find it. All right. Don't go Facebook. Go Google. Look for something different. Learn something new. I mean, it's not a bad thing, guys. You're not too old to learn anything. You're too old
Absolutely.
to give up. And that's
And
the
just for
thing. That's why we're here now.
just for the sake of those people who listen to this podcast that maybe follow me on TikTok, there's probably a fair amount of those people. Uh, September 13th, which is Sunday, the rules change. I don't know what that means. I don't know that if I'll be kicked off the app too, because I'm not going to change what I do. I'm going to continue to do what I do. If they kick me off, understand this: there's a few other options. There's here on the podcast. I'll be here every day, whether TikTok likes me or not. And you can get that on Spotify, and you can get that on YouTube, and you can get it on Substack. But the TikToks that you're used to watching, you'll still get those on YouTube and Spotify and Substack. I mean, if I'm not on TikTok, I'm not going to be shut up. We'll continue to do
Right.
it. We just have to change. There's a shelf life for everything, including apps. And if
Right.
TikTok ends up taking a shit and doesn't want liberal people on there, okay, fine. We'll stick where we are and find a new place when that happens.
And I'm looking forward to see if Hawk is right, because a lot of people are jumping on Hawk goes, no, he's just being paranoid. Yeah, he is paranoid, but as the old saying goes, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean someone's not out to get me.
Yeah.
If they go through everyone's videos forever and use it as a scoring card, I could think of a couple of creators who aren't truly political, but use satire that could get burned. A couple of people I've done. The only reason I went to TikTok is I followed a creator named JC and her take on the afterlife called Hell's Bells, and that is pretty freaking liberal, and
Yeah.
it scores people of a certain ilk. And if they go through every one of her videos, they ain't gonna like what they hear.
Well, that's
So
that. Just so people understand what you're talking about. Hawk came out on it. I saw the video, and he said that he heard, and where he would have heard it from is a guy
the
I know too.
the
I haven't
Vegas guy.
talked to them. Yeah, the Vegas guy. I haven't talked to him recently. I don't know what the point would be, but what he's saying is that not only are they going to change the rules, that somehow they're going to, using AI, scan all of your videos retroactively. And if you break the rules retroactively, they will shut you down. I find that one hard to believe because how do you sell that? You can't tell me I broke a rule when that wasn't a rule. But if they do that, I can assure you I'm fucked because I got a lot of videos and
Yeah,
they're all talking shit and they're all breaking those
and
alleged new rules.
I don't know who's programming the AI that's
Yeah.
doing the algorithms. We don't know what that base programming is, so maybe I was the first. Got a taste of it on my
Yeah,
side.
maybe.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's possible. Also, I might have chapped someone's ass because I questioned that Charlie Kirk brought that on his own. That's a possibility. I don't
Yeah.
care anymore because it's not worth the headache that it became. It was
Yeah.
fun when it was the old school. Now it's not anymore. So hey, fuck it. This is where we're at. You can find me on those two places on Substack and YouTube. Still gonna do my thing. Mike occasionally will let me talk my shit once a week or so, and then we'll just go on with it until either something good happens or something bad happens. Because the thing I keep hearing that it may be bad, but there is something in the background that's pushing on these guys that's gonna break them. And it's not us that's gonna break. We're already
Yeah.
been pounded enough. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why these guys, talking about war. Hey, okay, what more can you do? What
Yeah.
more can you do? I mean, again, you think the majority of us are little sheep. Nah, there are a lot of fucking wolves in this thing, and we don't want to be fucked with. And some of them are Generation X, and you don't want to fuck with them. We don't care. They don't care. And I don't care. Because at this point, like I said, I have nothing to lose. They've already told me that.
Yeah.
And so I'll end it with this. If you want to bring it, and Mike will agree with me, I'm your Huckleberry. Let's do
I've
it.
always I've I've always said if you've got nothing to lose, you can afford to be crazy. So watch the fuck out. And
Exactly.
that's exactly true. Well, Will, thank you very much. If TikTok goes away, doesn't matter. We still have the
Yeah.
platforms we have, and we still have the podcast. It won't change anything for me, but I appreciate you coming on, coming off yet another ban on TikTok. It's almost like a badge of honor at this point.
I got three. I'm cool.
You know what the weird thing is?
Mhm.
You and Hawk and a lot of people have been banned at different times. I've been on for 5 years. You know the shit I talk. Never been
I,
banned. Why
weird,
is
huh?
that?
I don't
Well,
know.
I think it has to do with blocking as many Trumplefucks as I can get a hold of. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of them backdoored me. So, hey, do what you want to do. I don't care at this point because I've got other options and I'm going to continue to do my thing until I can't do my thing. So, simple as that,
Exactly.
guys. Amen.
Exactly. For those of you listening, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.